Hi there guys, welcome to another video. Chun speaking here. Today we're just going to go over how compound interest work and how it can help you work out your cash flow. So let's jump right into it. On this side I've got individual A starting from age 25. We're going to go all the way until age 65 down here, which is basically your standard retirement age if you're considering the standard age at this stage. Likely to change, but that's not relative for our example over here. Now in this example, we're just going to invest $10,000 at a interest of 10%. Just going to keep the math super simple. Excuse me. So in year one, we've got $10,000, right? And if we're putting 10% in every single year, assuming that that's the rate, it's not always going to be like that, but obviously keeping everything super simple. Let's do year two, 1.1. So there's your 10% right here. And then we're going to add another $10,000, right? And you can see that is your 10% here. And then that's your $10,000 we're investing again in year two. And I believe that $10,000 is a very reasonable sum that anyone could aim for to invest in every single year. So to a somewhat extent, this can be a realistic example. Obviously not including all the fees, etc. that you might do. So let's go all the way down to age 65 and see how much we make. Okay, so if we were to do, just to recap, $10,000, interest 10%, all the way down, if we were to do that for 40 years, would actually end up with almost $4.8 million, basically, right? That's a hefty sum, you know. Anyone could probably do reasonably well, you know, even if we were to retire on this age with a probably family per se. And some people can probably do a lot less and probably be somewhere in this gap and probably still retire pretty well, depending on how much your living expenditures are, obviously. Anyway, moving on. Now we're just going to work out the difference between the two. Now year one, we're not going to make any difference, obviously. So that's going to be 0. Year two, we're going to do year two minus year one, right? I want to put this in brackets. This is definitely not what we want. Give me 1 second. So put the brackets in. Then we're just going to minus $10,000, right? So the reason for that is because we want to work out the difference between the two, right? And we also want to take off our initial 10,000 that we're putting in order to work out how much of a difference we're actually making, which is hopefully going to be our 10%, right? So here you go is the difference that we're making. That's being compounded at the moment already. Right, so let's scroll all the way down to see how much we're making in total. Right, so there's the total amount that we're making throughout those years, 442,000. Quite a handsome sum there. Now, finally, we want to work out what the compound difference is between the two. And this is where, let's call, a lot of people would say, where the magic happens. So year one, nothing obviously, we haven't done anything yet. Year two, still really not that much or nothing again, just because we're just starting our snowball effect or just starting our compound effect. Year three is where it begins, right? So all we're gonna do here, brackets, we're going to take the first number from the year two. We're going to times this by 1.1, right? So this is our 10% that we're making on top of our difference, right? And then we're also going to minus the same cell. So the reason for that is because we want to work out the difference between these two. And this when our interest of 10% is making 10% on top of our 10%, right? So initially, the $10,000 is mine that I invested into it, okay? And then the second year, another $10,000 I've invested into it. My year one, $10,000, made $1,000. We left it in there, and we are using that $1,000 that we made to continuously make money for us, right? And that's where money just keeps on making money, you know. That's why the rich always gets richer and the poor also just gets poorer all the time as well, just because of how asset and liability work, right? So let's see what we get here. 100, right? So we can see that this is literally just our interest making interest, right? So there's our compound interest effect difference. Let's scroll all the way down, and boom, there you go. We can see that our interest is literally just non-stop making interest on itself, and we can see that it just keeps on amassing to a bigger and bigger sum. And this is why compound interest is so important to understand. And the earlier that you start, the bigger the sum that you're going to amass. So let's cut the video over here. Hopefully see you guys in the next video. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time.